Welcome back to the How to Finesse Podcast. I'm your host, the JACKAL, aka the Finesse Father. This is episode 8, The Power of a Cosign. I'm at the radio station. I've got invited there by my lawyer. He has me meeting the Dirty Boys. Because if you know the Dirty Boys, it consists of two people. It is E.T. and J Nix. They are on air every day from 6 to 10 here in Atlanta. I'm going to roll some footage of them and some pictures. They are on the #1 hip-hop station here in Atlanta, Hot 107.9, and they have the #1 nighttime show. Very influential. Play your song on the radio, so a big major plug in Atlanta. If you know the Dirty Boys, comment down below. How did I feel when I was in the radio station? I actually felt like I didn't belong there. I felt as if this was a dream. This wasn't really happening. And as I'm walking through the hallways, I see, platinum plaques with like Ludacris, Beyonce, all kinds of other celebrities all throughout the hallway. So I'm really nervous. Boom. We get into the building. I'm here with my lawyer. And as you know, the title of this episode is called The Power of a Cosign, so be aware of that throughout this episode. So I'm here with my lawyer. He's introducing me. He introduces me to E.T. E.T. was a little bit more outgoing, and he started telling me about how he was an artist, and he started showing me some of his music, actually, which was really good. Then my lawyer was observing. He was paying attention. He says to E.T., hey, this guy manages and markets talent. So we exchange emails, and I, keep in touch with him. Now, here's another finesse factor. The power of a cosign. So I was introduced to someone on the radio by my attorney, who he represented them as well. So we both shared the same lawyer. And when he introduced me, he didn't introduce me as to, hey, this is some server who's working at P.F. Chang's. He was like, hey, this guy manages and markets talents too. So this is the power of a cosign. He introduced me as somebody who was important to them. And he introduced me and highlighted my best attributes. He sold me to them. So me and E.T. exchange emails. I keep in touch, and we go from there. I had a smooth follow-up. Now, this isn't really the finesse factor, but following up with people is like a whole, game in and of itself. You don't want to be too thirsty. You don't want to be too aggressive, but then you also don't want to be too lackadaisical and seem like you don't care. So you got to find a nice balance in between. So what did I do? I said, hey, you know what? I got a membership at this private members club. Hey, he's a celebrity. Why don't I invite him to lunch? That's exactly what I did. I emailed him. I said, hey, let's do lunch. Let's talk about how we can benefit your career and go from there. I invited him to the Commerce Club, of course, the private members club. It's so hilarious. He actually came to the Commerce Club with like some sweatpants on and like a bandana. He had just came from the gym, and they have a dress code there. So I had to kind of like sneak him in. They were kind of giving me some trouble, like, Mr. Lewis, he isn't really dressed, I'm like, okay, he's on the radio. Come on, can we let him by? And they're like, just this once. So we sneak him in. We get him in the Commerce Club, and he's wowed. He's floored. He's like, whoa, this is dope. I never even knew this was down here. So boom, already off the back, I'm impressing the radio person, which is kudos to me. And we're just having a good time. We're having lunch. At lunch, he's telling me, hey, I need help with a lot of my marketing, and I need help building my brand, like I need a website, logo, stuff like that. In my head, I'm like, done. This is what I've been doing for my clients for the past 2 years. I know how to build websites. I know how to do logos. I'm a pro at this. I was already ready for him. I had a package ready to go. I believe this package was a couple grand a month, and he agreed to it. And he was like, hey, yeah, I want you to market me. I was floored. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is such an amazing accomplishment for me. Like, now I'm representing somebody official in the industry, and I could do so much with this. So that day, I was actually so excited that I walked around the street from the radio station, found the nearest tattoo shop, and got my company logo tatted on my wrist right here. I was serious. It was official. This was going to be my life. So I'm working with E.T. I branded him for a few months. He really liked what I was doing. We cleaned up his image, got him a photo shoot, a new website, a new logo, some merchandise, and he was looking like a nice product. So after I started working with him for a couple of months, he started to see my work ethic, my drive, that I was serious about this, and most of all, I knew how to accomplish what he asked. And he was like, yo, let's make it official. Let's do some management. I'm totally on board for that, and now I'm managing one of the Dirty Boys. This all happened within a span of like 3 months. This is crazy. This was the radio station, an official media conglomerate, basically give me the stamp of approval to say that, hey, this guy is official. He knows what he's doing. One of our personalities is working with him, so he's got to be good. He's got to know what he's doing. So this story just came out of the blue. Literally, I couldn't even make up anything better than this. I get a call from my artist, Doc Frank, who I'm managing, and he says, yo, I got us tickets to the Grammys. You want to go? What? I got us tickets to the Grammys. Do you want to go? Of course I want to go. Why would you even ask me? That's a dumb question. Yes, 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 and yes. What? So how do we get those tickets? So Doc Frank went to high school with a guy named Joe Winter. Shout out to Joe Winter at a B103.9 radio station down there in Florida. He actually gets tickets to the Grammys every year, and the radio station, of course, needs to go to the Grammys. He didn't want to go to the Grammys this year. He was going to give them to somebody who deserved them. He gave them to his friend Doc Frank, who I managed. So we got 2 tickets to the Grammys. I mean, I'm not even going to lie. We got 2 tickets. Here's a picture. Bam, right there. 2 tickets to the Grammys. I've only been doing this for like, a year or two, and I'm already invited to this. I couldn't ever imagine something like this. This was going to be my first time in LA. I mean, this was just like Hollywood. I got a new suit. I went and got it tailored. I got my artist a new suit. We went and got fresh, got ready for the Grammys, and I can't believe it, but I'm going to roll some footage right here, and you guys can see me at the Grammys enjoying myself, which was an exclusive concert. I think Justin Bieber performed, a bunch of other people. I was sitting right next to French Montana or something. It was pretty dope. And the event was great, but they had an after party, the official Grammy after party. And I didn't have tickets to that. Neither did my artist. We just had tickets to the actual Grammys. So we're both like, damn, what are we going to do? And I'm like, well, let's go. Let's just go try and see if we can get in. So we go in. Of course, they're super secure. It's the Grammys. They're checking all kinds of IDs, all kind of credentials. People are getting kicked out left to right. And I just see a nice, smooth line going steadily. And I just walk behind that line. And here's another finesse factor.
Finesse factor.
Go with the flow. Everybody's always trying to blend out from the crowd and stand out. In certain situations, you need to blend in with the crowd, and that's exactly what I did. There was somebody who had just had the right credentials that walked in front of me, and I saw the security guard literally just take a half a second to look that way, and I just went with the flow of traffic and followed behind that person, and boom, I had passed the security people, and I was in the official Grammys after parties. I didn't even look back until I got all the way to the door, and I looked back, and my artist is getting like thrown out by security. So I tell my artist, I'm like, yo, I can leave. I'm here in the after party. I know you didn't get in, but we can leave. He's like, no, stay in there, network, get some of my connections. Let's do this. I don't care. Do it. So I'm there, which was actually super whack, and I didn't know that this was like, everyone knows that the official Grammy after party is whack. Like, you need to go to all the other celebrities after parties. That's where all the action is. So I'm there. They got, a bunch of performers, a bunch of food. Now, the food wasn't whack. There was like, all the food you could ever imagine. And all the drinks, everything was open bar. And I met a few connections there, but it was really just like a bunch of media people. So I left the party. I met my artist at this restaurant. And he's like, yo, we're going to go to Tyrese's house for the after party. And I'm like, Tyrese, like, baby boy, Fast and the Furious Tyrese? He's like, yeah. I'm like, let's do it. So we go to Tyrese's house. Tyrese's house is huge. He had an amazing backyard with like a pool and like a fire pit. Wiz Khalifa was there. Wiz Khalifa's manager was there. I met this guy and a white guy named Will. Pretty cool. I was pretty tipsy. I don't really remember everything we talked about. Met him. And then I saw Tyrese coming in through a crowd of people, and he had like a robe on. And he's like, y'all either gotta come in or come out. I'm tired of y'all moving all around here. Choose one or the other. And I'm like, yo, that's hilarious. He's in a robe, yelling at people. He had a super cool vibe. There was a bunch of celebs there. I don't remember everybody, but I do remember he actually had a Benihana's in the back of his pool. He had a whole Benihana's. This was crazy. I'd never seen anything like this. And I was like, you know what, Tyrese, you're onto something. Leave the party. I'm back in LA chilling. Had the time of my life. First time in LA, I'm going to the Grammys. What more could you ask for? So as I'm working with E.T., not only is he a radio personality, he's also an artist. So my job as his manager was to promote his music. What way? A listening party. So that's exactly what was next on the agenda. I told E.T., I said, we need to do a listening party. Let's invite all your celebrity friends, and let's make it huge. He was down for it, so that was my next mission. This was my first big event, so my company name was on the line. My reputation and brand was on the line, and I definitely had to show the world that I knew what I was doing and that I deserved to be in this industry. I wanted to do it big. I was inspired by Ryan Leslie. He had rented a big castle in France or something for a party he did. So I said, you know what, let's rent a castle. So I started looking for castles. We found a castle on Peachtree Street, an amazing venue, really old. It's called Rhodes Hall. I'll show some pictures here. And it's usually used for weddings. But I said, you know what, this is so dope. No one else is going to do the listening party here. We should do it here. Everyone else does a listening party at studios. We wanted to be different. We rented the castle. Of course, him being on the radio, he has everybody's phone number, every rapper, every producer, anybody that's popping in the industry in Atlanta that you could think of. He's interviewed, and they are cool with him. So we invited all of them. We made it a huge deal. We got catered food. Instead of having a red carpet, we had a blue carpet because that was the theme of his whole album. So here's another finesse factor.
Finesse factor.
Events are your best friends. Now, what do I mean by this? Everyone thinks when they do events, it's going to cost a bunch of money that they could lose. When I do an event, I know that A, you're going to make a bunch of money off of sponsors if you package it right. B, you're going to get a bunch of content of people enjoying your brand for you to promote your brand. So it's a win-win. Like, do events, they're your best friends, you're going to make money, and you're going to get content. Okay, so here comes the finesse. Ready for the finesse? Liquor. Biggest expense for most events is liquor and food. We got ours finessed. Rosé champagne, free. Liquor for free, mixers for free. We had gift bags with a bunch of products stuffed for all the VIP guests, free. We had a Bentley to pull up in. I'm gonna show you the Bentley right here. We had a Bentley sponsored for us for free. And thousands of dollars from local businesses who have done business with ET before. Shout out to Big Al at U-Bar. He gave us a big bag to help support his company and to help support his friend ET. Here's another finesse factor.
Finesse factor.
Document and promote. Most people, when they do their events, they take a couple photos, they do a few Instagram live stories, and then that's about it. If you really want to build a brand and have your company be out there online, you need to document and promote. You need to do a press release of your event, all the best photos, all the best videos, highlight them, talk about who was there, all the celebrities, and send it out to all the blogs. That way, your event can be covered, and then more people can see about what you were doing. Next thing you know, a bunch of blogs promoted our event. We were on the home page next to some Beyonce thing that was happening. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing, and it let me know that, hey, you know what? The press has a relationship with celebrities, so you can work with them. So now my company was associated with major media platforms. This kind of legitimized me in the ATL hip-hop industry, and if you Googled me, you can find me, with celebs like E.T. Zaytoven actually showed up to the event. It was amazing. So this kind of legitimized and helped stamp me even more. So I started to utilize my connection. Working with E.T. from the Dirty Boys, he's on the radio station, so every day he's interviewing somebody famous or doing some red carpet coverage event for some official event. So it gave me access to like anything hip-hop related in Atlanta by managing this guy. Here's another finesse factor.
Finesse factor.
Get people to owe you favors. Do something for somebody that's so amazing that they're like, you know what? Whatever he needs, anything, I got him. For an example, now that I manage the radio personality, if you're a celebrity and you want to get an interview, I can kind of hook you up. I can say, E.T., you want to interview this person? He's like, yeah, let's do it. And now I've become someone who has some pull. I have some leverage, and we have something to exchange that's valuable. So that's exactly what I did. I found out one of my former clients, Ryan Leslie, was going to be in Atlanta for a concert, so I invited him down to the radio station to help him sell more tickets. E.T. agreed to interview him, and it was on. I'm actually going to roll some footage of the interview right up here so you can see it. So now I had become of value to somebody who we knew was valuable, Ryan Leslie. He had his concert here at Center Stage here in Atlanta. He gave us all access passes to his event. It was dope. We were backstage meeting all the celebs. There's some footage right here. If you don't believe me, I'm always going to back it up with the receipts. So now I'm at a stage where I'm popping. I'm buzzing. I got some famous people associated with me. What am I going to do with it? I got to leverage that. What can I do? I decided the best step for me was to publicize what I had going on. I wanted the world to see what I had to offer. So I hired a publicist. I ain't gonna lie, for the first 3 months, my PR had me popping in Atlanta related to hip hop. I was on the guest list with a +1, able to go. For instance, 2 Chainz had a restaurant opening of his Escobar Lounge. I was there. Jeezy had a brunch. A3C was popping. Rick Ross had an event. I was everywhere. So it was definitely worth the investment for publicity. All artists out there, if you don't have PR already, save up for it and hire a great publicist like us. We do PR too, so if you want to hit us up, go to magicmusicmanagement.com. We can get you that red carpet look. I'm on the red carpet every other night doing my thing, feeling amazing. Publicist totally paid off. So then there was like the event you had to be in Atlanta. It was Rick Ross's birthday party. It was going to be at his mansion, at his house, which Van Holyfield used to own, which has the largest pool in America, and it's the biggest home in Georgia. Some drama that went on, where she actually almost tried to sabotage me from getting in, from meeting people like Big Boy, Meek Mill, Dej Loaf, Rick Ross, Usher, and a bunch of other people. You'll find out, did I actually get into the party? Did I meet Rick Ross? What happened? Did I get sabotaged by my publicist? Tune in next week to the How to Finesse podcast, and I'm out of here.